Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Sri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Sri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda Om Agyanatya Randasya Chakshurmadatam Sri Govinda. Right. So we'll just chant for a couple of minutes until some devotees come on here. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya. We'll get one person and start. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, we'll start now. So this is chapter 8 in the Madhya Lila. It talks between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is known as Gauranga, is the ocean of all-conclusive knowledge in devotional service. He empowered Sri Ramananda Roy, who may be likened unto a cloud of devotional service. This cloud was filled with the water of all-conclusive purports of devotional service, and was empowered by the ocean to spread this water over the sea of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Thus, the ocean of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became filled with the jewels of the knowledge of pure devotional service. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all glories to Lord Nityananda, and all glories to Lord Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. According to his previous program, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went forward on his tour. After some days, arrived at the place of pilgrimage known as Jayada Nishima. Upon seeing the deity of Lord Nishima in the temple, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered his obeisances by falling flat. Then in ecstatic love, he performed various dances, chanted, and offered prayers. All glories to Nishingadev, and all glories to Nishingadev, who is the Lord of Prahlad Maharaj, and like a honeybee is always engaged in beholding the lotus-like face of the goddess of fortune. Although very ferocious, the lioness is very kind to her cubs. Similarly, although ferocious to non-devotees like Hiranyakashipu, Lord Nishingadev is very soft and kind to devotees like Prahlad Maharaj. In this way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited different verses from the Shastras. The priest of Lord Nishimadev then brought garlands and remnants of the Lord's food and offered them to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As usual, the Brahmana offered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As usual, a Brahmana offered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu an invitation. The Lord passed the night in the temple and then commenced his tour again. The next morning, in great ecstasy of love, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started on his tour with no knowledge of the proper direction. He continued the whole day and night. As previously, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted to Vaishnavism many people he met on the road. After some days, the Lord reached the banks of the Godavari River. When he saw the river Godavari, the Lord remembered the river Yamuna. And when he saw the forest on the bank of the river, he remembered Sri Vrindavan Dham. After performing his usual chanting and dancing for some time in the forest, the Lord crossed the river and took his bath on the other bank. After bathing in the river, the Lord walked a little distance from the bathing place and engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna. At that time, accompanied by the sounds of music, Ramananda Roy came there on a palanquin to take his bath. Many Brahmanas following the Vedic principles accompanied Ramananda Roy. Not studied too. Not studied. Be right there. All right. Okay. Where we were. So many Brahmanas following the Vedic principles accompanied Ramananda Roy. And according to the Vedic rituals, Ramananda Roy took his bath and offered oblations to his forefathers. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that the person who had come to bathe in the river was Ramananda Roy. The Lord wanted so much to meet him that his mind immediately began running after him. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind was running after him mentally, he remained patiently sitting. Ramananda Roy, seeing the wonderful sannyasi, then came to see him. Sri Ramananda Roy then saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as to be as brilliant as hundreds of suns. The Lord was covered by a saffron garment. He was large in body and was very strongly built, and his eyes were like lotus petals. When Ramananda Roy saw the wonderful sannyasi, he was struck with wonder. He went to him and immediately offered his respectful obeisances, falling down flat like a rock. The Lord stood up and asked Ramananda to arise and chant the holy name of Krishna. Indeed, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very eager to embrace him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then inquired whether he was Ramananda Roy, and he replied, "Yes, I am your very low servant, and I belong to the Sudra community." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Ramananda Roy very firmly indeed. Both the master and the servant almost lost consciousness due to ecstatic love. Their natural love for each other was awakened in them both, and they embraced and fell to the ground. See, when devotees it's kind of like, in the world, people in the world, if you meet somebody you haven't met in like years, and then you embrace them, it just feels so nice. It's like a reunion. Okay? It's the same in the spiritual world, and when the devotees like Ramananda Roy is from spiritual dimension, so is Lord Chaitanya, the devotee and the Lord together, and they finally meet. See, and what happens in the meeting is ecstatic devotion. See, that's the secret of bhakti and why the Lord comes here with his devotees to show what that meeting is like. Now, it's interesting here, and this is the same kind of situation that happens here. When a devotee, because the Lord has disappeared, he's unmanifest to our eyes. So when the devotees are here, and they are, especially this Lord Chaitanya's movement, they're going to be here. They're going to be more rare, usually, the actual associates of the Lord. But when the devotees chant the holy names of the Lord, chant the pastimes like this, it causes the meeting between them and God. Because Lord Chaitanya said the book, devotional, like Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita, is actually the book incarnation of God, incarnation of Krishna. Whatever incarnation they're glorifying, that's the incarnation it is. So this one's glorifying Lord Chaitanya. This is the incarnation. It's just like meeting Ramananda Roy. So, one who's advanced in devotional service, which is either from a previous lifetime, or in this lifetime, usually it's like you hear from devotees who are chanting the glories of the Lord with Ras, who, like the title of the singer, chanting Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Ras of it, Chaitanya Lila, the Ras. The Ras is the taste. It's a spiritual taste that only the devotees who have this natural love for the Lord experience. And then if anybody else wants that, and that's the whole point of the Vaidhi level of devotional service, is so that one develops a desire to attain that kind of taste. See, that's what's all in the Vaidhi Bhakta books that Prabhupada wrote, is all about these kind of meetings. We're reading from his book. Talks about this, see? And the devotees pick up on that when they're chanting these verses in ecstatic love. Okay? And they point it out. So you see that. See, this is where it's all leading to. See? And you people that hear from devotees who chant these verses in ecstasy of devotion and taste and enthusiasm, many qualities that are awakened when devotees revelations, deep revelations about the Lila. You hear these things, purifies consciousness. It's like Jesus said, he talked to his disciples about the kingdom. He has a relation with God. That's transcendental. And he said, you're purified by the word, you're clean, purified by the word I spoke to you. See? So that's how it works. We get purified by the devotees' sound vibration that they speak. Because it's transcendental. It's filled with this taste that they have. And it gets transferred. So when they embraced other ecstatic symptoms, paralysis, perspiration, tears, shivering, paleness, standing up of the bodily hairs appeared, and the word Krishna came from their mouths falteringly. See? This meeting, this devotion, causes Krishna's name to be very attractive. So the devotees are always eager to chant because they want to taste this wonderful name, the sweetness in the name Krishna. So now, this is interesting. When the stereotype ritualistic Brahmins, see, stereotype means, it's kind of the ordinary Brahmin persons. Ritualistic, following the Vedic rituals, following the Vedic rituals, saw the ecstatic transformation of love, they were struck with wonder. All these brahmanas began to reflect as follows. The Brahmanas thought, we can see that this sannyasi has a luster like an effulgence of Brahma. But how is it that he is crying upon embracing a Sudra, a member of the fourth caste of the social order? See, they had no instruction on transcendental knowledge. This was their actual first instruction. It came subjectively. Okay? They saw it, but they couldn't understand it, and that's why the Goswamis, they write books about ecstatic devotion, like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and then Prabhupada did a summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Rupa Goswami. We need to teach about this and why, because it's going to be seen eventually. Many devotees, even now, when they see a devotee in ecstatic devotion, relishing the name and the pastimes of Krishna, they're still like, wow, what is this? See, but if they've studied these books, they would have some like idea. But many people still find it hard to believe because it's so rare. It's so rare to see this kind of bhakti that was happening 500 years ago. The Lord came with thousands upon thousands of his entourage. Whenever an incarnation comes, the spiritual world empties out and they follow him. He's so attractive. See, that's the whole thing. If you want to be attracted to Lord Chaitanya, Radha and Krishna, find a devotee. Because even a devotee here, after the Lord has departed, when the devotee is here, they're following Lord Chaitanya in the Leela. Krishnadas Kaviraj said, I shouldn't write this Leela. It's so confidential. I shouldn't write about it. Speak about it, nothing. But if I don't, how will the devotees be nourished in their bhakti? See, like even now, many people haven't studied this before. Even now, it's like, what are you talking about? I'm sure, people, they don't, what is this? So people need instruction about this, the transcendental mellows of devotional service. See, and so the devotees, they have these. Lord Chaitanya was in 3 states of consciousness, and they're all transcendental actually. He was sometimes in external consciousness, and the devotees also are like this, like father, like son. Right? So sometimes the Lord and the devotees are in external consciousness, and they're like a regular, ordinary person. You talk to them, they got logic and all this. They got a lot more than that, but they seem like a regular person. And then they dive deeply into the mellows of devotion and relish this ecstatic worship. See, this is the constitutional position of all living entities, is to worship the Lord in ecstasy. Ecstatic devotion. That's our position forever. But most people, most devotee person, we're actually all devotees, but we're in this Maya. The Maya makes everything unclear and illusioned, and it's like seeing mirages everywhere, seeing reflections of the truth. You know what a reflection of the truth is? Our family, our friends, and our society. It's a reflection, a dim, dark reflection of our constitutional position. This is the Maya. Okay? So in a way, worship of God, when we are become awakened, self-realized, it's a natural transition because, our family becomes Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Even we're taught by Prabhupada's mercy for us Westerners in this world. We're taught that 4 relationships we can have with the Lord. 4. You can be the servant of God. You might feel like that's your natural place. That we have these eternal positions. See, it's eternal. I'm not in the world. You become a servant of some master here, and it's just for this life or for a day. They pay you for some for a day or a month or a year or 5 years. You're a servant, and then the body goes, or you change masters and get another one. But at some point, it's all finished. See, but when we awaken to our constitutional position, which is the whole point of associating with devotees who teach us these things, we wake up to our eternal position in relationship with God, and that causes the transcendental mellows of intimacy between our soul, ourselves, and God. See? So it's a servant position. So in that position, that's forever now. Oh, and then there's another position you may be awakened by association with devotees. The Lord becomes your intimate friend. More intimacy, and come more close. Oh, and then there's another position. You can be the maintainer of Krishna. You know, I posted this thing that St. Francis said. I'm going to tell everybody, I didn't say everybody, I'm going to share a secret. I asked the Lord to show me something really confidential. This is St. Francis. So the Lord showed him something really confidential. So that's on my Facebook page. And also another friend, he showed it to me. So St. Francis asked the Lord something confidential. And so the Lord showed, he had a vision of the Lord at his breast, sucking and being nourished by his own breast. Could you imagine? That must have blew his mind. See, in other words, that was so, maybe he didn't even understand it. But the Lord showed him the vision of his constitutional position of being the mother of Krishna. I mean, to even reveal that must, God, should I even say this, man? Especially to Christians. Christian cannot conceive of that. Isn't that amazing? The Lord showed him that, and then we got this now. When I got that post, I thought, woo, what a revelation. That was really confidential. But this is what Vaishnavism teaches, these kinds of relations. It could be the father of Krishna. You could be Krishna's intimate lover, beloved. There's that relationship too. Just 1 second. Oh, I'll just respond a little bit. Yeah. So first, see, these are all in these devotional books, so we learn about them from the devotees, even though we may not experience them yet. But this helps create an openness. Now, these brahmanas were not schooled in this. This was not shared. This is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and his devotees that for us to even give a class like this, to talk about these things. And even most Christians don't know that this is the extent that devotional service can go. Many persons studying Vaidhi Bhakti in these sanghas of Vaishnavism, they may have read these books, but they don't understand them yet, because to understand these, you have to meet an actual example who is a living example. They're it. They go into these states. They're sometimes in external consciousness, talking and teaching, and sometimes they go in and taste this ecstatic devotion and get very intoxicated by the bliss and ecstasy of it and rapture of it. So, and that's the only way you can understand these principles or teach them, which you'll do sometimes subjectively by showing the devotees like this. These brahmanas are learning. What is this? We've never seen anything like this before. Right? And later on, the books come out. Rupa writes Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Oh, really? Whoa, look at this. See, and then they're instructed, or maybe many of these ritualistic Brahmins took shelter of the ecstatic devotees and learned these things that we're actually teaching also to Vaidhi Bhaktas and stereotype Brahmins if they come this way. You know, kind of in the same way the Sudra. This Sudra here was teaching these mellows of devotional service, and often the Lord empowers a low class Sudra to teach this stuff. I mean, this is what it says. It teaches it right here in our books. Many times, low class Sudra is empowered with this kind of bhakti to teach it. And what it does, actually, there's usually people, become a little proud when they study the Vedas, and do austerities, and they think they're great devotees. They get a big following. And it humbles them. They have to listen to a sudra to learn this stuff. It's kind of funny how the Lord teaches and works. I'm always amazed how the Lord is very artistic in his doing this lila, and follows this pattern. It's a lot of these kind of Brahmins would not go to the ritualistic Brahmins or people that had big followings and everything. They wouldn't humble themselves and go and learn from these devotees. Therefore, they didn't get this ecstatic devotion because it's only passed on by being favorable and learning it from the devotee. Lord Chaitanya himself said he was a sannyasi and everything, and he went to Ramananda Roy, a low-class Sudra, to learn about pure devotional service. See? So if he did it, he wanted to show the example. Even I had to go and learn. See? So, but many people, because of pride, they won't go to learn. Or a lot of times they'll come to the devotees and usurp. They come with the usurping. It's just like, I read the verse the other day that the whole war was about usurping. The rightful inheritance of the Pandavas was Krishna, basically, and all the lands and all of that stuff. It was the rightful inheritance, basically because of their devotion and bhakti, and it was there. But I guess the Kauravas or something, or the opposite side, they wanted to usurp that. They didn't want to get it giving honor and respect. They just wanted to go and steal it. See, so many people come to devotees, they have this, it's a crooked mentality that has to be straightened out somehow. And they come to usurp so that the energy and the inheritance of the devotees who have this bhakti, and they think, well, let me get it so I can be a big teacher also, or something. So let me be like that person, a big guru or teacher. See, but the Lord, he teaches in his own way, and what we're doing here is an empowered thing. I never really came to do it. My first disciple or student, I didn't want. Really, personally, I really didn't. I took the person to many different teachers and gurus. I said, well, first you look at them. Maybe you want to do this and that. And Prabhupada came in a dream and said, no, this has my approval. You do this. You teach this bhakti. See? Then Krishna in the vision, came also. And I don't want to talk about that again, but this stuff is, I just want to emphasize the point. It's always an empowered thing. It's because on our own we can't do it. Even Jesus admitted, I said, of myself I can't do anything. Prabhupada said, yeah, I didn't write these books, they were dictated by the Lord. It's always the favor and the mercy of the bona fide guru, the disciplic line, all the way back to the Lord, the beginning of the Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda in our line. It really is. It's not something that anybody can do artificially, but people try, they just keep trying. I actually had to, to help purify people with this mind, 4 or 5 at a time. So listen, it's the wrong mentality. You have to stay outside of the Sangha. You cannot come in with that. This is actually what takes down a garden of bhakti. Name and fame and wanting to usurp that energy. So it has to stay outside. Just like Kalya, the Kalya serpent had to, even after Krishna purified him, he had to stay outside of Vrindavan. Outside, not inside. And the beautiful thing is, when you learn bhakti the right way and you get purified, you know, you get clear and clean and hard and everything, then automatically the Lord uses you. Wants to use everybody. But you got to understand Jesus' point, because he knew the same thing. Seek the kingdom of God first, and then all else is added. See, a lot of people want the all else added first, before the purification. Then they always fall in the face. You have to get the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is this devotion. It's pure devotional service. It comes by satisfying the Guru, either in this life or a previous life. If you come into this life with strong bhakti, it's obviously you got the mercy in the previous life. You come here, you pick up the book Bhagavat, and you go into ecstasy because now you're meeting Krishna. You feel it. You know, your natural love for Krishna awakens. Okay, past life, you've done something you know, to get this mercy. And in this life, and this is really the case with most devotees, is you get the association of a devotee who has strong, mature bhakti. Okay, by drinking so much of this ecstatic devotion, and the Lord uses them to purify disciples and bring them up to the same place. But it's not a cheap, it's, you know, actually it's so inexpensive because the Lord wants to give it to everybody and anybody, but people have to go the way you get it. It's always the same thing. You need to get it by the mercy of the devotee. The Lord's mercy, his bhakti, follows the mercy of the devotee first. So the devotee is purifying. You're always there in front, in that sense. It's the Lord actually doing it, but he's using the devotee, see? But if you come to the devotees to usurp, and especially at this level of Raganuga, it cannot be tolerated. Vaidhi, okay, there's a lot of that. Bhakti Siddhanta and Prabhupada tolerated so much name and fame stuff, but that won't work here. It doesn't work. Immediately it's like ejected by Krishna, or you know, the inspiration of the teacher. Yeah. So it also causes Vaishnava aparad, which automatically distances one. You just start feeling lack of affection for hearing and chanting, remembering about Krishna. You know, and then you think, oh, I'm more advanced. This was always the same. I always see people get into this. It's always now we went beyond you into now we're better or equal or more than. Now we know what real bhakti is, but you don't. And let me teach you. Always the same thing. It's always like, my goodness, Krishna, you can bewilder anybody. You know? See, Vaishnava aparad. It's the mad elephant offense, and then everything is cut off. You're just distanced until one figures that out. So I mention it because maybe it will help some devotees out there, some who may, have fallen prey to this, and it's not easy to understand. You actually have to have it pointed out usually. Otherwise, you can go your whole life not knowing this, just in a dark cave until some devotee shines the light. This is the light, actually, the light of truth on that anartha. Yes. So anyway, we can go into all kinds of truths about this, and Vrindavan teaches. There's a demon obstacle that takes you, and puts you in a dark cave. This is an operad thing. And you're just in a dark cave, and you think you can see and everything, but you really can't. You're in the darkness and don't know it. But when you start to listen to the devotees preaching these truths, and then your eyes are open through hearing. At a certain point, the Lord allows you to hear. Oh, wow! I did that. Wow! I lost a great jewel. So they thought this Ramananda Roy is the governor of Madras, a highly learned and grave person, a Mahapandit. But upon touching this sannyasi, he has become restless like a madman. That's the greatest happiness, is this restlessness like a madman. When you become ecstatic and you look like a crazy mad person in totally, it's kind of, it's like, what goes on in the bedroom with intimacy. That's why they don't show what goes on in the bedroom usually, because it's so ecstatic, it's like that. It's very intimate union with God. The people in the world, they're union with each other, and it's nice and beautiful. They keep it in the bedroom, but because it's just. But Lord Chaitanya wanted to show the world what union with God is, so he did things like that. They saw it. Oh, what is this? Something new. This is beyond the Vedic rituals. Okay, I think I need to stop now because we have a satsang coming up in even an hour, so I'll rest for an hour and come back again about 4:30, about 5. Let's see, it's 3:30, 4:30. Yeah, about an hour and a half. Probably. Thank you for watching. Is that you, Anastasia? Oh, there's a few people who came in. Yeah, I don't know who's here, but thank you very much for coming. Let's see, we have one viewer here. So, thank you for coming for this reading. All glories to Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda and Prabhupada and Jesus and all great devotees.